We're not coming together to get power or to overthrow anyone. No, that's not our purpose. Our purpose is to have a true seat at the table. So in other words, you won't disrespect us. You can't just kill us. You're not going to violate our rights.
But if those politicians don't care about the American people or America, then they shouldn't be in
Hey y'all, this is Tiger from 106 Keep It a Bean. How's my 106 Keep It a Bean family doing out there, man? You know I love chopping it up with you guys. You know I love kicking it with you, man. You know what we do here at 106 Keep It a Bean. Yes, we keep it funky. And yes, guys, you know we keep it fresh, man. Excited to be here on this Steeler football Sunday. They play primetime tonight. They play Dallas, man. Let's get a W. Let's get a win. Please check them out. I definitely will. Excited to be here as always, man. You know this is therapy for me. I told you I need this. This helps me out a lot. I hope it helps you as well. But man, let's just get into it. This episode is basically it's kind of a culmination of a few of the episodes that I did. We're going to kind of chop them up a little bit. But the title is just simply keeping it a bean. Keep it a bean. So we're going to try to keep it a bean. Just walk with me a little bit and see where it goes. I have a video that I want to show. It's about a minute long. But we're going to show it. And then we're going to chop it up. Okay? So just spend a little time with me. Let's take this little walk. Let's take this little journey. Let's see where it goes. We're going to try to present a present today. We're going to put the content in the box, and we're going to decorate the box, and we're going to put a bow on it, and then we're going to present it to you. At least that's my hope. That's my plan anyway. But again, I'm going to show this video, and then we're going to chop it up, okay? Let's get to it, man. Here it goes.
So, what does the matrix look like? Let me show you. Now, despite what you might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two circles are not equal. One is in fact larger than the other. What I need you to do is determine which one that is. So, please raise your hand if you believe the blue circle is larger than the red. Alright. Please raise your hand if you believe the red circle is larger than the blue. Alright, very good. Now, before I said anything about these two circles, what was your first instinct? Equal, right? Because they look equal. And the reason why they look equal is because in fact they are equal. These two circles are identical. Yet I got just about every one of you to raise your hand and say that they're not. So what did we learn? That you can be manipulated like that to believe in something that goes against your natural instincts. Just imagine as a child you're taught that the blue circle is larger than the red. If you say it enough times, you convince yourself that's the truth. If you're told the lie enough times, it becomes part of your reality. And if enough people are taught that lie, that the blue circle is larger than the red, well, now it becomes part of the culture. And if that culture then passes that misinformation along to the next generation, well, now it becomes tradition.
So what do you guys think about that video? I told you it wasn't long. But what do you guys think about it? It was interesting, wasn't it? He had two circles. They were different colors. And he told you that they were different. But your natural instincts told you that they were the same, other than the fact they were different colors. Interesting, right? So think about it. How many times that you've used your natural instincts or your natural God-given ability about something, and you knew that's what it was? But then someone came along and said, nah, there's a difference. Or it's this, or it's that. And you began to do what? Question what you know to be true. Question your natural instincts or your natural God-given talent of discernment. And you've seen what it is. But because I said something to you, I made you think. I made you question what you already knew. So imagine how many times that's been used on the masses, on us. Imagine how it was used in religion. Just imagine. I know you've heard me say this, guys, 1,000 times. We've been indoctrinated, which means that we were told something over and over again, and then we begin to believe it without question. And so we've been indoctrinated with European colonialism, with their mindset, with their ideology, with their religion, with their customs, with their belief. We were indoctrinated with all of that stuff. Half truths, some truths. But can you imagine when you first heard about Christianity? You began to read, you began to go to church, and you began to hear preachers preach. Your natural God-given discernment or instincts saw it for what it was. But just imagine if someone says, nah, that's not what it is. It's this or it's that. And I'm only saying that to say this, man, that we have to be very careful who we listen to, who we allow to teach us, or whoever we choose to learn from or to be around. You have to be very, very, very careful, because he just showed you in the little clip that the circles were the same. But because he told you they weren't, you began to question what you already knew, that they were the same. In fact, the only difference was they were two different colors. Think about that. I heard something. I heard I was watching. It was a seminar of such about the current condition of the black churches in America. It was a conference. There was bishops and ministers there and pastors, all, very articulate men, man. They were very eloquent, very powerful, very moving statements. And they talked about the present condition of the black church. And there was one pastor in particular who he said something to me that kind of made sense. It was very profound. He said, what's happening in the church now is that there's a battle between social justice and biblical justice. And he went on to say that's why so many people are leaving the church. They're running away from church, not running towards church. And he said that what happened was social justice became a construct, and it became its own religion. In other words, let me say it this way. Churches used to influence politics. Churches used to influence communities. Churches used to influence families. But because social justice and race became a construct, it no longer looks for scripture to validate itself. And so it becomes a perverted version, because it no longer is looking through the lens of scripture anymore. It's looking through the lens of race or social conditions or what have you. And let me say this. Sometimes when you're doing the right thing, it can end up being wrong. Case in point. So you have this battle between social justice and biblical justice. You have people running away from churches. And one of the reasons why they're running also is because there's a lot of hypocrisy in churches. And what I mean is this. You have pastors who preach one thing in the pulpit, but then publicly they'll stand against the very thing they just preached about in the pulpit. And people are seeing it. And like Cat Williams said, that this 2024 will be the year that lies get exposed, and that the truth has to come out, and it will come out, and it will prevail, and we're seeing it at an alarming rate this year in 2024. And so, and I understand that the Bible prophesied that the great apostasy, and people would be, falling away and listening to untruths and ungodliness, and all those things would be their motivator or their God or their worship or whatever you want to call it. I get it. But like I was saying to somebody last night, We have the power to change that. And when I say mean, I mean all of us on this earth. We have the power to change that narrative. We have the power. We just have to believe in it, and we have to utilize it. But and so I want you to keep thinking about that video that I showed and how easy it is to dissuade you or to persuade you to think something else when you actually know the truth. You know. Let's keep it a being, man. What about relationships? No, one more thing. What I have to say this, and I know I'm going to get in trouble, but that's okay. When it comes to religion, here's the saying. I'm going to just say this. There's a saying where they say God is the same yesterday, He's the same today, and He'll be the same tomorrow. So that means whatever He deemed unrighteous, unclean, unholy then, He still stands on that same position today, right? But you have many pastors and many churches who are afraid to stand on biblical principles because they're afraid of culture. They're afraid of being canceled. They're afraid of people walking out of their churches. But they're unwilling to stand on biblical principles. It's crazy. But you know the truth. You know what it says, but yet you are afraid to be ostracized, to be canceled, to be talked about or be ridiculed, or to be considered a heretic. God forgive me. You understand what I'm saying? And so one of the things I'm talking about is same sex. Here's my thing. I don't have the power or the authority to send anybody anywhere. And I don't have the power or the authority to condemn anybody. I'm just using it as the backdraft for this to simply say is, if you know the truth and you believe in the truth, then stand on it. Keep it a being. You shouldn't matter if people walk out. You shouldn't matter if they try to, so I don't know how you cancel somebody, so-called cancel you. I mean, whatever they decide to do or want to do or say, as long as you're standing on truth and righteousness, it shouldn't matter. I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know it's not a good place to be. But when are we going to have church leaders like that? When are we going to have politicians like that who are willing to stand on truth? Is not afraid to say, I'm going to stand on truth. I'm going to walk with truth. No matter where it takes me, how lonely it gets, how dark it gets, how long the road gets, I'm going to stand on truth. Does that make sense? Let's keep it a being, man. You have a lot of hypocrisy in church. You know, you have, I'm going to stop beating churches up because people are going to say, oh, you hate church. That's not my purpose here. I don't hate church. I just want church to be what it's intended to be. Walk in purpose and walk in power. Be the influencer that you used to be. Be the beacon of light in every community that you used to be. And stand on truth no matter what anybody says. Stand on truth. Let's keep it a being. Let's keep it moving, bro. I talked about relationships. I just did an interview the other day with Jessica, and thank you again. Kudos to you. I thought you were very eloquent. You were very powerful. You gave some really, really good statement and some input. We talked about dating in your 40s. You know, some of the challenges of it. Because, now that you're older, you date with intentions, as opposed to when you were younger, you just dated. What do you guys think, man? Relationships, man. They're complicated. They're crazy. Love gets involved. It's powerful. It's an emotion. You get bamboozled, man. It's crazy, bro. But you got to keep it a being. What are we going to do, bro? What are we going to do? Politics. Let's talk about politics for a second. politics. It's just amazing to me, man, that every year it seems like every 4 years the presidential race is becoming more and more important every 4 years. I don't know why that is, but it is, and that's keep it a being. And this one is no exception. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. It's not my purpose. But I want to say this. Trump said some things that kind of made me say, whoa. He said, if you vote for me, you never have to vote again. Now, I don't know how you interpret that. I don't know what he meant by that. But what my God-given attention, God-given discernment told me, he was saying once you vote him, he ain't going nowhere until he decides to leave. Or if he has, passes away or something. That sounds like a dictator to me, right? And so you either want democracy or you want a dictator. You have to pick and choose. When I say when it comes to politics, you have to find out what you care about. Do you care about housing, education, economy? Do you care about the border, immigration? Do you care about healthcare? Do you care about our education? Do you care about jobs? What do you care about? And once you write a list of what you care about, then you look at the two candidates. And you simply say, hey, where does he stand on immigration? Where does he stand on immigration? Where does he stand on the economy and jobs? Where does he stand on the economy and jobs? What I mean by stand, how have they voted in the past? What's their platform? What ideas do they have to combat the issues? And if you find out that this candidate, you don't really kind of like their ideology or what they stand for or how they voted, then don't vote for them. But I'm just saying Trump said some dangerous things. You have to, I have to take you at face value because you said it. You said if you vote for me, you never have to vote again. And then there's Project 2025. There's some things in there. You want to dismantle the Department of Education. There's some things in there that it seems like you want to turn the clock back. And so we have to be very cognizant and aware of that. It's crazy, man. Again, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I was talking to some people yesterday, and most of them are voting for Kamala simply because she happens to be, a woman who's running for president, who happens to look a little bit like us. And so that's why most people are voting. And I kept asking the question, do you know what she stands for? Do you know her policies? Do you know her track record? Have you seen how she has voted in the past on key issues? That's why you should vote for a candidate, not because they happen to look like you. But I'm digressing. I apologize for that. But again, man, please go out and vote. And let me say this. I talked to a couple people. They said they're not going to vote. And I said, why? They said, why should I? And I said, if you don't vote, basically what you're saying is you don't care. And if you don't care, then that means don't say nothing. So if gas goes up, if your paycheck goes down, if taxes go up, if they cut Social Security, they cut welfare, they cut this or cut that, don't say nothing because you didn't vote. And that's what I say to people that say they don't want to vote. And I get it. It's convoluted. It's a lot. It's crazy. Who do you believe? Who's the lesser of two evils? What has Trump done? What has Kamala done? I get it. But vote. Get out and vote, man. Cast your vote. And I understand we don't pick the president. The Electoral College does. But you do pick judges. You do pick governors. You do pick senators. You do pick House of Representatives. And if I'm not mistaken, all 430-something seats are up for House of Representatives. And I think 30-something senators and some governors in this presidential are up for election this year. So remember, the legislative branch creates laws that impacts our daily lives. They're the ones that says, this is what's going to happen. We're not going to cut Social Security. We're going to do this, do that. So them is the ones that we really need to be paying attention to because they are the ones that make the laws that affects our lives. Does that make sense? Let's keep it a being. So get out and vote, man. McKeesport. I have to touch on this a little bit. I made a comment. Some people responded to it. I hope you heard me in the spirit of what I was saying. I don't know if you guys noted, but last year there were three condors, which are basically vultures. And they were in McKeesport, flying around. I used to see them on the rooftops, and they were always together. There was three. And so I kept seeing them, and I was asking people about it. They was like, yeah, I see them all the time. So what I did was I came home and I Googled condors. And it was very interesting. They were considered royal birds. You know, they were honored and royal, kingship. But what one thing they do, and hear me in the spirit that I'm saying, they represent death. But listen, they don't bring death. They don't cause it. But they know it's coming, so that's why they go. And so to me, that was a symbol to me. And I posted something. I said, McKeesport has to die. The old regime has to die. The leadership has to die. I don't mean physically, but I mean get rid of. They have to go. And it's time for a new culture. It's time for new leadership. It's time for boldness. It's time for someone to stand on truth and walk in it. Speak it. Live it. Inject it. Become infectious with it. It's time. But the process of dying is still, we're in that process now of McKeesport dying. And I know it seems I know it's uncomfortable. I know it may even seem unfair. I know it might be a long, arduous process, but it has to happen. Remember, everything has to be tested. Everything has to go through the fire of purification. It has to. That's the only way you know what it is. I've said this before in relationship. How will you ever know unless you go through something? You have to go through something. Everybody on this planet gets tested. I don't care who you are. Keep it a bean. You do. Man, politics. What else? I got to talk about relationships again. Excuse me. Why is it so complicated between us? Why is there so much, in some cases, hatred between us? I'm talking about between the man and the female, and a black man and a black woman. Why? What is it? I know that's the $1 million question, but what is the $1 million answer? Why is that? Why can't we do better? You know, I was talking to Jessica, and she gave me an alarming statistic. She said up until World War II, black marriages, family marriages, we were about the same with our white counterparts. But it was after World War II, I believe, when marriage rate between blacks started to go down. And it's not much better now. And so, but we have to change that, and we can change that. But it starts with open, honest dialogue. You know, people always say, you and your feelings. Well, I'm sorry. if you hurt me, or I hurt you and you express yourself, you're not in your feelings. You're telling me what I did, what I need to know, or the other person needs to know. Keep it a bean, man. But we have to do better, and we can do better. I get it, man. I get it. Life isn't easy. We don't. You weren't born with the instructions. When you were born, someone didn't hand you the instructions and say, hey, here's your purpose, here's your life, this is how it's going to play out. Go out and get in your lane and go play. It's not that simple. It doesn't happen like that. In most cases, we have to find things out. Like me here, I'm 59 years old and I still don't know my purpose. I've asked, I've prayed, I've screamed, I've yelled, I've ran, I've done it all, and I still don't know my purpose. And I'm pretty sure many of you out there feel the same. What is my purpose? And I watched somebody post something the other day, and he made sense. The guy said, he feels like he's just living in this flesh, like he's just existing, but that's it. Like it's not the same. I guess like there's no joy anymore. There's no purpose anymore. There's no truth anymore. There's no honor among thieves anymore. There's no, everybody wants to be politically correct. I've talked about democracy. One of the most dangerous things about democracy is the majority rules, which has nothing to do with morality, which has nothing to do with truth or righteousness. It's about what the majority wants. We got to do better, man. We have to. I know we can. I believe in us. I love us. I know we can. Help me out, brothers and sisters. I know, Donald, we got to get together, man. We got to do our episode. Austin, we got to do our on white supremacy. We got to. I think we need you to educate us, because I think we don't truly understand their power, their purpose, how ingrained it is in our Constitution and in the fabric of America. The dangers of white supremacy, the schemes, all the games that they play. They use tactics just like the clip I showed you, where I clearly show you something and you clearly discern what it is, but I tell you, no, that's not what you saw. It's not. There's no more race in America. We solved that problem. We gave you a black president. There's no more racism. We love you. But when you look at the facts, we're still disproportionately incarcerated. Medically, disproportionately, again, the list goes on, man. Racism still exists. It's in the very fabric of this country. And until we eradicate it, America was never great. So you can't make something again that it never was. So we have to stop, man. We have to face the music. We have to keep it a being and do the right thing, man. Does that make sense? Excited, man, always to be here to talk to you guys, man. Just wanted to keep it a being a little bit, man, and talk a little bit about relationships, politics, religion. Guys, I'm always looking to interview people. I know there's some interesting people out there who have a story to tell. Have something to say. In fact, I'm going to start telling some stories from time to time. I have some stories that I'd like to share with us. Some of them are painful. Some of them are crazy. But they're my stories. And I would love to share them with you here on 106 Keep It a Being one day. But, man, it's Steeler night. Steeler Sunday. We play Dallas in a little bit. I'm going over my niece. I enjoy it with her and her husband. We're going to have a good time. Watch a good game. Hopefully the Steelers win. But we'll see. But remember, man, don't allow somebody to manipulate the truth. When you see it and you discern it and you know what it is, don't allow somebody to come and say, no, that's not what it is. Stand on truth. Be bold. Don't be afraid to stand alone sometimes. Because if everybody's going across a bridge that's about to blow up and you say, no, I'm going this way, you don't have to follow everybody because the majority is doing it. Does that make sense? Follow truth. And I know truth can be relative. Truth is about interpretation, but you know what I mean. You know when something's right. You feel it. You know it. You see it. It balances. It makes sense. It weaves right. It looks right. It you know what I mean. It just fits. It's the last piece of the puzzle, and now it all comes clear, and you're like, wow, that's truth. Wow, I get it. You know, I'll tell people in a minute, man. You know, and always own your shit. Excuse my language. Meaning own your mess. If you mess up, hey man, I messed up. I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. Don't push it on someone else. Don't act like it didn't happen. Own it. You'll be better because of it. They'll be better because of it. They'll see character. They'll see a man or a woman who's growing, who's accountable, who's transparent, who's real, who's down, who's keeping it a being. It's crazy, man. It's 2024. We're in the 21st century, and it seems that a set of things are getting better, they're getting worse. Families are no longer families anymore. You have strangers living in the same house. Everybody's in their phone. I remember I went to go eat somewhere one day, and there was a family of four, and they all had their head in their phone. Nobody was talking to none of them at the table. That was crazy to me. My younger kids know when we go out to eat, put the phones away. I want to talk to you. I want your undivided attention. How was your day? How was your week? What's going on in your world? You know, I did the episode on our devices, smart devices. Are they raising our children? You know, I talk about gun violence. You know, I'm an advocate for common gun solution. I'm an advocate for gun violence. I keep calling it a pandemic. I keep talking about the seriousness of it, the impact of it, not just economically, but the impact it has spiritually on families, on communities. Because once someone's gone, they're gone. You don't get them back. All you have is memories. And because somebody decided to pull the trigger, because they were angry, they were mad, or they felt betrayed, or whatever. And I'm not saying you don't have a right to feel those ways, but you don't have a right to act on them, if that makes sense. Keep it a being, man. You know, I wake up every morning, man, and I thank God, and I look in the mirror, and I look at that person, that reflection, and I see me. And sometimes I look at it, I don't like what I see. I don't. And I try to change it. And then sometimes I look at it and I do like what I see. You have good days and you have bad days, man. You know, I talked about mental health, self-care, you know, taking care of you, protecting your peace, not allowing anyone or anything to mess with it. Even if you have to cut some branches and trim the trees. One of the things I'm learning now that it's hard, but you have to close chapters. And sometimes that means closing people. You have to close the chapter. Because it's what's best for you. They may not understand it. They may not like it. They may be like, question it or whatever, but it isn't about them. It's about you. Close the chapter if you have to. Man. Cut some branches, you know, prune your tree to make it look like how you want it to look. Again, man, we need politicians and we need church leaders who are going to stand up. And McKay supporters, people who live there, pray for your city. Pray for it. Pray for the leaders that are there now and pray for the ones that are going to come. You know, pray for change, true change. You know, McKay Sport, is in a great location. Because you have a lot of people who work in the city who don't want to live in the city. They'd rather live around the city. And McKeesport could be a wonderful place, but you got to put money into it. You have to pump hope back into it. You know, you have to create change, man. It's not free. It costs. One last thing before I get out of here. A young man, this happened, I think, last year sometime. A young man posted something, or somebody posted it. And he said that his baby mama called him. And he says, your son is hungry. You know, I don't have any food. Your son is hungry. Can you bring something? Now, she had 2 other kids. Well, he went to Burger King, Wendy's, wherever, and he brought back food for his son. She seen him. She said, you only bought food for your son? You know I have 2 other kids there. And so she threw the food away. And so he posted, was he wrong? Was he wrong for just buying food for his son, even though he knew she had other kids there? Was he wrong? What would you have done? I mean, I know what I would have done. I would have bought food for all of them, because to me, kids, you know, aren't to blame. Kids are innocent. They didn't ask to be here. That's what I would have done personally. But I understand why he did what he did. But I'm asking you out there at 106 Keep It a B Land, was he wrong? Comment. Let me know, man. Hit me up. I told you on my Instagram, it's MIZPAA657 at Yahoo. Hit me up on my Facebook page, Robert Banks. You know, go on YouTube, 106 Keep It a B. Hit subscribe. Leave comments. Tell me what you think, man. I keep telling you, this is therapy for me, man. I need it. You know, I love my children. I love my grandkids. You know, life is crazy, man. You just got to keep walking, man. You just got to keep plugging. I love y'all, man. I do. I really, really do, man. Just keep chiming in. Keep checking me out. You know, give me feedback. Give me suggestions. And we'll talk about it, man. That's what we do here at 106 Keep It a B. I'm going to get out of here, man. I got to get ready, get myself together so I can go to my niece's and watch the game with her husband. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully, like I said, let's get that W. You know, I got my terrible towel. You know, I keep that. Got my little medallion. So, you know, it is what it is. Guys, you always know what I say. Be true to yourself. More importantly, be true to God. Walk with purpose. But more importantly, walk with love, man. And remember, don't allow somebody to change what you know to be true. Your discernment, your God-given discernment, your God-given intelligence. You know, if it's black, it's black. If it's white, it's white. It is what it is. Don't let somebody come with that statement that says, no, they're different. Or no, that's not what you saw. Or no, that's what it is. It isn't. You know what I say, man. You know what we do here at 106 Keep It a B, man. We're gonna keep it funky. We keep it fresh. We're gonna talk. We're gonna chop it up. You know, we're gonna spend time together. We're gonna do what we do, man. Let's pray, man. Let's pray for each other, man. You know, and when I mean pray for each other. Lift each other up. Speak life into each other, man. You know, and it's okay to disagree. We can learn from it. You know, I don't have to hate you. You don't have to hate me. We just have a difference of opinion. But we can still see the truth in it. If that makes any sense. But again, I love y'all, man. I'm out. Get ready for this game. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your Sunday. Get ready for this new week that's coming. This new work week. Hope it's full of blessings, full of hope, full of everything that you want. You know, again, man, this is Tiger from 106 Keep It a B. You know I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.